So hey, so we are live. So if you happen to be one of our Patreon members joining us live tonight, welcome. If you happen to be watching the recording after the fact, this is Stormfront Freaks Raw. This is episode 129. We've got the awesome Chief Meteorologist McCall Vrydaghs up in Dayton, Ohio. She's with us tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun talking about what she's doing and also talking about the 2019 tornado outbreak up in the Dayton area that Greg and I were chatting a little bit about before everybody got on. But we got a great show. But this is raw, meaning you're catching the recording. So this is just the fun recording stuff, which means you're going to be able to catch all the stuff that we end up editing out, which can usually be a lot of interesting things. You're going to benefit from all that. But if you are live and part of our patreon.com/StormfrontFreaks team, that means you can also join us in the chat. So make sure you're joining us in the chat. Let us know that you're here. If you got questions for McCall, let us know too, so that we can share that with her while she's on, and all that good stuff. So introductions. I see Dan's here. Dan, glad you made it tonight, man. I was getting a little worried there. You weren't on as early as you normally were. So anyway, so I'm Phil, which we've communicated a little bit already, but I'm in Cincinnati, so I'm just down 75 from you for the most part. Greg Johnson, he's up in Canada, so we were talking about Canada, and I still don't know. We just say Canada because he's in a different country, really where he lives, I have no clue. But anyway, so Greg's a big storm chaser, so he'll probably have a lot of good questions for you about 2019. MJ is in Minnesota.
That's me. Hey.
As well. And he runs their county Skywarn network. Then we got Jennifer Watson, former Weather Channel. She's a meteorologist, big social media guru. She does all our social media input and everything else, which is great. And then we've got Serena is in New Hampshire, right? Not Vermont. Okay,
New
so
Hampshire.
I got that right. So she's also a meteorologist. She's done all kinds of cool meteorological stuff. She's been on TV too, which I don't think I remembered that until you showed us that little sneak peek of
my old Easter clip.
That was your Easter clip. I thought it might have been your April Fool's clip, but yeah, your Easter clip. But yeah, wow. So she's also been up. She worked up at the Mount Washington Observatory for a while, and which is pretty cool. We got Brady Harris. He's in Columbus, so he's also just a few clicks away from you.
Yeah, and McCall, I don't know if you remember too. I came and interviewed. It was a while ago, back when Eric was still there.
Yes, I do.
I came and interviewed for an intern position there. So small world.
Huh? The face is very familiar. Now I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What'd they say, Brady?
I was gonna say.
Well, I actually forget. But I know it was gonna have to be. Was I coming there to interview? Was I just coming there to visit? I don't even remember because I was.
Why are you asking her?
I don't know. I'm just trying to remember what it was.
If you don't know.
I know I was coming because I worked with Eric at 10 TV, so I think I was coming just to say hi and then see, what was, because I think that was back when I was potentially going to not go into meteorology. But
yeah, I feel like it was like let me check it out and make a connection, and if maybe somewhere down the road there's an opening.
Exactly,
we'll remember your face.
That's why he's not working in meteorology, by the way.
Was there also a "Don't call us, we'll call you" scenario?
We'll talk about that offline.
I love the studio, though. You guys have a great. I mean, the studio was amazing that you guys had. So it was pretty cool.
And then Dan Wallace, he's one of our big Patreon supporters. He is also a storm chaser, does some cool work as well with drones, but he kind of hangs out with us too. He's a big member of our team. So that's the group that's on tonight. I'll quick kind of go through so we can get started. How did your team make out in the playoffs, Brady? Said Curtis.
Oh, well, we lost.
Hockey playoffs.
So we lost.
But you went pretty far. So how far did you get? Quarterfinals?
Yeah, we got to the semifinals. So
wow,
that's good. That's great.
It was really pretty good. It was
for the lowest seeded team. Not bad.
It was pretty brutal though. We scored a goal within the last 2 seconds, and they didn't count it. So
no.
It was bad.
Did your bruiser break out a fight then at that point?
No
your instigator?
Fights, but the same refs called a icing on a power play, which is not a thing in hockey. So
wow.
It was was not
all right. Anyway, so now, introduction. So that's all out of the way. So what we'll do, I'm going to get started. I'm going to start here with a quick little intro that we put at the beginning of the edited podcast. And then we'll kind of go ahead and after that, start the show. I do a little intro. Greg, I'm also going to bring up again El Nino's episode 2. So I'll kind of cue you if you want to jump in and talk a little bit about Chris being on and all that good stuff.
Sure.
And then McCall, what we do to introduce ourselves to the listener is we go around and find out what everybody's drinking tonight.
Okay.
which gives everybody an idea of the fun that we like to have on this weather show. We try to avoid the sciencey part of weather and more the fun, entertaining part. But so we do that, and then I'm going to turn it over at that point to Serena, and she's going to introduce you, do the introduction, and she'll start with the first question. We'll do questions till like maybe 25 after or something like that, and then take a break before we come back for the second segment and finish that up. So we'll have you out of here well before 10. Okay.
Okay, that's good.
Sound good? Austin, do you have any questions about anything?
No, I'm just excited.
All
I
right,
love the setup right now.
we are completely laid back, so take it easy, have fun. This is believe me, this group is not going to ask you any tough questions.
Okay.
And that includes me, so that's okay. All right, so let's go ahead. I'll do my quick intro. In 3, 2. Hey, freaks, it's Phil, and we've got Chief Meteorologist McCall Vrydaghs from WHIO-TV in Dayton, Ohio. And we're sharing our hashtag WeatherFools, WX resources, and letting Weather Trollbot 5000 loose on some more trolls. It's all coming up on this episode of Stormfront Freaks.
All right.
All righty, here we go.
Bye, Dan.
3. Oh, see you, Dan. 3, 2. Hey, welcome everybody to the most entertaining weather podcast. This is the award-winning Stormfront Freaks podcast. I want to shout out to our special Patreon members for supporting the show. We've also want to share with you, Curtis and Jackson have both just qualified for their exclusive Stormfront Freaks tornado logo diagram t-shirt. If you haven't seen this is pretty sweet because it looks like something you'd see in a textbook, but it uses our Stormfront Freaks logo, the tornado logo, and then they've expanded it to show, the supercell and the inflow and all that cool stuff. But that's only available to our Patreon members at the EF5 merch and more level. So a chance for us to provide some merch for them as well. But that's on the way for those guys. You too can join us live during our video recording and get in on all the extras at patreon.com/stormfrontfreaks. And I'll say this, you've likely also heard the new addition to our podcast network, El Nino's, right? The Tornado Hunters podcast is now in our podcast feed, so you'll be entertained every week with some fun weather storm content. And Greg's back on tonight. Greg, I just want to ask you a little bit. Episode 2 was just released. Tell us who your guest was and a little bit about the fun of that show.
Yeah, just to give you a sense of how we're approaching weather with El Ninos, is we had Chris Bukowski from Bachelor Nation on as our guest. And wow. Chris is the member of the Bachelor community that's been on the most episodes ever. And he came on. We talked weather. We talked a little bit about some cryptocurrency. We told some fun tornado stories, and we invited him to go storm chasing with us. But Phil, I got to tell you, I'm so excited because we've got some cool guests coming up. I've got Tommy Chong from Cheech and Chong is booked to be. Yeah, wow. Tommy Chong's on in May. I've got this guy named Alex Zerbe from Seattle, who is a 2-time Guinness World Record holder. He's a prop comic. He's been on America's Got Talent, Last Comic Standing, so it should be a lot of fun. Check it out. If you subscribe to Stormfront Freaks Podcast Network, you're going to get El Ninos in your inbox on whatever podcast app you're using anyway. So just subscribe. And McCall, we're really hoping you subscribe too, just so we get that. Yeah. we want to get that, that celebrity factor, which we really lack here on Stormfront Freaks. We just don't have that. Brady, I'm looking at you on that one. Go ahead.
People do.
I'll tell you what. It is a great show, Greg. You guys are doing some fun stuff with that, and it's great to listen to. So yeah, check that out. It's always happy hour every time we record here at Stormfront Freaks, and what I mean by that is the best way for us to introduce ourselves and to find out who's here tonight is to go around the horn, find out what everybody's drinking, because it sets up the fact that we're a weather podcast, but we like to have fun, have a good time. We our secondary goal is to try and educate a little bit about weather, but that's not our primary goal, right? Where our primary goal is really be entertaining, have a lot of fun. So let's see who is here tonight. Greg, I'll start with you. Actually, I'm going to end with you. I'm going to go to Brady first. Brady Harris over in Columbus. What are you drinking tonight, buddy?
Tonight I got a nice big tall boy. This is a Kolsch from a place called Gamut. So it's I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it sure tastes good.
I don't know. I've seen you with a beer in a long time, so that's pretty cool. All right, Serena up in New Hampshire. What are you drinking tonight, Serena?
We've got snow in the forecast. It's starting tonight, and when it snows, I drink stouts. So I have a barrel-aged stout this evening.
God, April snow. April snow. That's creepy. All right, Jennifer is down in Atlanta. Jennifer, what are you drinking tonight, Jen?
I'm actually in D.C. this evening.
No kidding. That's why the background's different.
Yeah, that's why the background is different. I've got it's a whole fun gaming background.
Oh, you're at your boyfriend's place, aren't you? Yeah. Okay. Good times. Good times.
Great times. And I'm still drinking hot chocolate.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I had tequila last night. So,
yeah.
I know.
You're all talk. No one believes you anymore about that stuff. All right, MJ up in Minnesota. What are you drinking?
All right, I got a Cheers mug full of Northeast, my favorite grain belt. Last one in the fridge.
nice.
There you go.
Oh God,
Nice.
restock. Is that an annual beer that you can restock, or is that a seasonal?
You can get it
Okay.
anytime.
All right, Greg. So I will finish with you up in Canada. What are you drinking this evening?
I'm drinking, again, one of my own concoctions. I actually call this the first dose. And all of the ingredients in this drink, there's several different types of liquor. I measured them all out in a syringe on Monday when I got my first dose of the Pfizer vaccine, and that's where I got the inspiration for tonight's drink.
Very nice.
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 So are you also drinking that via a syringe in your arm, or is that
No, I'm not.
down the
It's
gullet?
not-
Okay.
No, it's an IV.
I don't think you can do that.
Sounds dangerous.
And live. Probably not. All right. Well, the whole reason most people are here is not for any of us. So I'm going to turn it over to Serena to go ahead and introduce our guest tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So tonight we've got McCall Vrydaghs joining us. She was named the chief meteorologist at Dayton, Ohio's WHIO-TV in November of 2018. And since 2012, she's covered a variety of weather events in the Miami Valley, including the 100-year flood on I-70 in 2014 and the tornado outbreak of 2016. Most notably, on Memorial Day of 2019, she tracked 15 tornadoes for nearly 4 hours as they ripped across the Miami Valley, including 3 EF3 tornadoes and 1 devastating EF4. So Vrydaghs earned her bachelor's degree in meteorology from SUNY Oswego. And so the first question I have is, tell me about how much you love snow going to SUNY Oswego.
That's a funny story because if you were to ask my mother, she would be surprised that that's the school I chose because of how much I despise snow. Whenever it snowed when I was younger, I would be outside for 5 minutes and would be pounding on the door to get back inside. So I actually chose SUNY Oswego for multiple reasons. One, it was a state school and I grew up in New York, so the expense of going there was a lot cheaper. 2, it was close to home, and SUNY Oswego had a great meteorology program. And 3, I grew up watching Al Roker, and that is his alma mater. So it was kind of all steering me there. And then once I got there, I was like, yes, I definitely hate snow, but it's a different kind of snow up there.
Oh, it totally is. It was so funny as I was doing some, background digging and research, trying to, just learn a little bit more about you. And it was funny seeing sort of that snow story. And especially with, when people hear this, it'll be a few days later. So I can't wait to hear what we end up with up here for snow. But since that's focus for me, I thought it was quite funny. So that's awesome.
McCall, I have to ask, where are you from in New York?
I grew up about 60 miles north of New York City, so it's considered the Hudson Valley. I went to Goshen High School, and West Point is about 20 miles or 20 minutes from where I grew up. So
Nice. Awesome. Well, I was going to say I grew up in Rochester, New York. And
Okay.
if we had stayed there in school, I would have gone to Stony Oswego as well.
My-
So I love that.
It's a great
school.
area up there. My sister went to school there after I went. She's a couple years younger than me. She still lives up that way. And I had made a ton of friends from the Rochester, Buffalo area. My sister-in-law actually lives in Buffalo right now.
Oh, nice. I love that. So I have to know, what is your favorite type of weather since you despise snow?
Well, most interested in, I love hurricanes. Didn't know much about severe weather, the tornadic side, until I got here. And then now I have a deep passion for severe weather and learning about it. But I would say my top is I love hurricanes and how long they last and how much they build. I'm actually going to be co-hosting a webinar on April 28th with the American Meteorological Society about how climate change is impacting hurricanes. So if anybody is seeing this before then, go ahead and register and we'll talk hurricanes.
So here's the big question I think that needs to be asked. So I'm down in Cincinnati. Why did you leave New York for Dayton, Ohio? Please,
Hey, Dayton's cool.
inspire us all.
Dayton is cool. Okay, so the nature of the TV business is not easy, and I wound up taking the long road to getting to where I am. When I graduated college, I didn't have a lot of TV experience, and I got a job in Newburgh, New York, working for a local radio station. It was an AM station, and they owned a daily or a weekly newspaper. And so my thing was to, help publish a newspaper, and I could do like 30 seconds of weather every day on the radio station. So that was like my thing. I went to CSB School of Broadcasting to get more camera experience. I got an internship at a place called FiOS One News that covered New Jersey and Long Island. And after earning my stripes there, I started to look for what was my next step. But at that point, I was engaged. And so I didn't want my husband to give up his career. And his company is a national company. So I kind of started to look places where he might be able to transfer. And I could also perhaps get a job. And his job initially was in Columbus and mine in Dayton. So it was the best that we could do in that situation. But once I got here, I fell in love with the Miami Valley. It's the best.
Yeah, I'm not trying to throw shade at Dayton, but New York and Dayton, it's definitely two different worlds.
Oh yeah, my family never understood it, and now every time we go back, my husband and I, because he's from New York as well, it's just we really like the slower pace and the less angry people here. Everybody at home is very angry all the time.
So McCall, I see you're back in the studio, and I know we talked. I think we talked with another meteorologist maybe last year about the whole COVID protocols and working from home. What is that like now? Is there, do you have camera people in there? Is it back to normal, or is it still kind of, what are the procedures in kind of today's broadcast meteorologist studio?
So we're kind of in between. We initially, when COVID happened, we took those early precautions, and then we started having a lot of people working from home, and that included myself. And that was an adventure. I had a few weather segments at 11 o'clock where my daughter at the age 3 and 4 would just be coming in and interrupting. So that was a learning curve. But then as we moved on, we, included masks, and people have to wear masks and stay socially distant at work. Our cameras have always been robotic. So the only people that are in the studio are the anchor and the meteorologist and whoever's running the prompter. And we're so separated, and, studios are wide open spaces. So it's quite safe for us. This is kind of actually unique to our station. Not a lot of stations have an actual office. That's where I'm sitting now, in the weather office. So I have my own secluded area that I'm away from everybody else. I have my own little bubble here, so it's pretty safe.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's been great. It sounds like it's getting back to normal, which is good. I'm sure probably a relief to you guys. You can kind of get back to, because I like working from home is great, but then you have little things like interruptions and stuff that can get in the way. So
yeah, like a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Hey, McCall. This is all really wonderful, but can we talk about tornadoes for a second?
I was going to do that too. Yeah.
Let's talk about some tornadoes. So tell us about your experience in 2019 with the Memorial Day outbreak?
Well, that was a learning curve for sure. So, Ohio and the Miami Valley in particular, we have tornadoes here, but we don't often have that size of a tornado. You know, historically, we have those big events like the Xenia 1974 instance with the F5 twister. But for the most part, on an annual severe weather season, we're getting spin up tornadoes, an EF0, 1, maybe a couple of EF2s for the year. So, my training, as far as tracking long-lived tornadoes and supercells, the skill level isn't as high as somebody that works down in Tornado Alley. Now, the week before I had that event that hit us in Southwest Ohio, I actually went to a weather conference and learned about being able to see indications of tornado outbreaks to that magnitude. And of course, I walked away from it like, that was interesting, but probably never going to use it. Fast forward, and the day that the outbreak happened, which was Memorial Day, I started noticing some of those things that I had learned a few weeks before and was starting to get really nervous. Was talking to, my co-meteorologist that works the middays about it, and even letting the anchors know and the managers that this was probably going to be a big night, but certainly had no standard to say, well, this is going to be bigger than this. The only benchmark that anybody ever talks about is the Xenia tornado. So, and especially in my experience, only have been here at that time 7 years. I was, in a sense, not prepared to expect that type of an outbreak.
Yeah, and for the listeners that maybe don't know about the area in Southwest Ohio, tell us about that area of Dayton that was hit. I remember watching it live and seeing the radar signature at New Germany, I think it was Germany,
yeah, Germantown,
and thinking, wow, like that looks like it could be like a like crazy tornado. What kind of area was this going through? Like, is this rural, urban? How was it broken down?
So Germantown is in our main county. So that's the same county that the city of Dayton is located in. So that's where our highest population is, just outside of the city. It didn't hit downtown where the buildings are, but you only go up 1 or 2 exits, and this is where that tornado came through. It also went through an area that is where people don't have necessarily a lot of money. And so the destruction pretty much just took out everything that they have ever owned, living paycheck to paycheck. Old North Dayton, there was one grocery store there that everybody used, and that grocery store was gone and is still gone to this day. And people had to find ways to get to other grocery stores, and a lot of people there lost their cars, damaged, couldn't afford to get new cars. So it was really a devastating impact. That in particular, the EF4 tornado, and there were 14 others that touched down that night. And at one time, when that tornado was happening, I looked at the timestamp of all the other tornadoes. There was likely 5 tornadoes down on the ground at the same time.
So one of one follow-up question. In the amazing part of that story is that there was only one fatality from the whole event, and it happened at night in the dark.
Yeah.
So, there must have been a component of your coverage and other news stations, obviously, in keeping people safe and knowing what was going on. What feedback have you had over the last couple of years, sort of talking about that and your input and your contribution to people's safety?
They said that it was the feedback that I've received personally about what I did that night is they said the tone in my voice was what made them take it seriously, that they knew that this was different from any other night. If you had watched the coverage live, then you saw there was a moment in time where I actually broke down and started to cry for a couple of seconds, and they went to the anchor because I needed a moment to compose myself. Because as meteorologists, we know the type of destruction that's happening, especially with our new radar technology and the fact that we can see when debris signatures are happening. And I know the communities in the cities. So when you have a debris signature that's moving through a highly populated area and, an area where people don't have a lot of money and may not have this resources. It was a lot to kind of take all in at the same time. But at the same time, when people saw the emotion that I had, it made them act. And that was on top of getting those warnings to them, technology as far as our cell phones being able to get the warnings, also gave them all a heads up that it was time to pay attention.
McCall, I love that you just admitted that, breaking down, and it's so hard to compose yourself when you're on camera. I covered the April 27th, 2011 tornado outbreak in Tupelo, Mississippi. And like the same as you, we had 3 EF5 tornadoes go through our viewing area, which is unprecedented, right? You wouldn't expect that. And like, I remember that same thing. People would say the tone in my voice, like I've never been so serious before, and like trying to hold back tears. And so it's hard when you know that community so well and you know what's about to happen, and you just pray that everyone, takes shelter. So I love you for being real about that, because that's one of the biggest things I think, as an on-camera meteorologist, I mean, you have to keep your composure, yet things can be so devastating. How long were you live on air during that entire event?
So I started, it was right around 9 o'clock. I think it was like 9:02. We had our first tornado warning, and I didn't go off of television, I think, until either 12:30 or 1 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you have like your other meteorologist, your team there supporting you? How did that work?
So meteorologist Dante Jones, who was there earlier in the afternoon that I was speaking of before and talking about how I was seeing the severity increasing, he had gone home and was kind of watching from home. But where his home was where these damaging tornadoes were coming in. And so there was a safety factor that he needed to stay where he was until he could come and help. The other 2 meteorologists, they work the morning shift, so they were sleeping. Now, Kirsty Zontini that works the morning shift, she's told me earlier in the day, she said, listen, I'm going to set my alarm for 11 o'clock and I'm going to get up and see what's happening. So because we have this, if there's severe weather overnight, I'll stay until she gets here. So there's a nice handoff and we're not missing any warnings and things like that. So she was going to get up extra early just to see what was going on. And she said that she woke up and couldn't believe her eyes that all of these tornadoes were everywhere. And same with the our 4th meteorologist, his fiance woke him up because they stayed up all day. It was Memorial Day. So they tried to enjoy the day a little bit. And so they were zonked out and completely unaware as to the chaos that was taking place.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, here's something that's very important, because all of these warnings from the National Weather Service, one of the things that helps them create that and produce that and know in advance what the conditions are going to be like is having a weather station, right? And I'll tell you what, guys, this Tempest weather station, it's a revolutionary personal weather system. It's brought to you by the folks at WeatherFlow. Visit weatherflow.com. You can learn some more, but it's this meticulously designed personal weather system that delivers unbelievable accuracy. It's got weather observations that stream instantly from this solar-powered wireless Tempest station that you have outside, and it goes through WeatherFlow's data center, and it's used to help provide a guaranteed better forecast for your exact location. And here's the key, is that data is collected and is shared with the National Weather Service, and that contributes to a more accurate general forecast, helps us predict and prepare for extreme weather. So it reports more than a dozen weather parameters. It covers your temperature, solar radiation, and UV. So you have a little idea before you go out for the day or your kids go out for the day, what the UV radiation is going to be like. Humidity, barometric pressure, wind speed, direction, lightning strikes, rainfall, and more. But what's cool about this is it has no moving parts, guys. So this is a weather station that has an anemometer, but it's not your typical spinning anemometer that obviously over time it's going to wear out. It's a sonically created, it measures the wind sonically through this device, which is amazing. And the rain, so we talked about rainfall. So a lot of weather stations, it measures rainfall through like a cup in the weather station itself, and then measures the rain going through it. And sometimes some weather stations, you have to empty them. This measures rainfall haptically. So as the raindrops tap on the top of this weather station, as it taps, it measures the rainfall by the number of taps on the weather station, which is pretty cool, right? So because of that, it's got almost zero maintenance because there's not all these moving parts. It's got a personal weather web page, and it gives you a direct link to Weather Underground. So it sends all of your data to Weather Underground as well. So people, your neighbors that maybe don't have a weather station, you can tell them, hey, go to Weather Underground, look at this location, and you'll know exactly what's going on here at our location. So you can share all that, and it's also got a link to dozens of smart home apps and integrations. That's the new thing right now, right? Is your Google, your Siri, your whatever it is. So you can integrate your weather station, all that stuff. Or you can even build your own app. There's a lot of weather geeks I know that listen to us that you guys love creating your own apps, and you just need an API, and the Tempest provides one for you. So here's the key. You can get $30 off the Tempest, this brand new system, with coupon code Stormfront when you go to weatherflow.com. So just go to weatherflow.com, and when you purchase a Tempest weather station, just use Stormfront. You get another $30 off that. So it's going to be it's time for a break. We're gonna basically go to another tracker chat for you where they're discussing storm photography, and of course we'll be right back with more from McCall. So stay tuned.
Nice. Awesome, McCall. You're so amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I love how real you are. Like, you're just, I don't know. You're brilliant.
Thank you so much. It's, felt like a character flaw at the time, but
No.
I guess it worked out.
What?
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all.
And you do all this
love
with
it.
a 4-year-old, which
I know.
I've got a 4-year-old. I know,
I've got a
Jen's
3-year-old.
Yeah, so it's like, man.
Yeah, and I saw that radar signature. I mean, there's just the fact that there was only one death out of it was just
It's crazy.
Speaks
I
to
know.
the
Yeah, at
volume, the
night.
job
That's
that
crazy.
you guys
Yeah.
did, the National Weather Service, you guys all. It's
Yeah.
just that's just a use case that everyone should try to employ going forward.
I was trying to remember the Weather Service because I watched their a presentation they did, and I believe the shortest time of a warning before the tornado hit, I think they had warnings out between 8 to 10 minutes before. Like that was
Wow.
the shortest notice that people got. Everything else was more than that. And they warned every single storm. So they were all over it that night.
The only problem with that, though, is people are sleeping. Like people aren't
So-
paying attention, right?
Our competitor, they had this issue because The Bachelor was on. So most people were up watching The
geez.
Bachelor.
Oh, no.
They lost their SHI, you know what, on
Yeah,
on
we
the
know
other
how those
station, but-
comments go. Phil,
Oh,
you must
yes.
have done a trollbot at some
Trollbot
point
about
on that
that,
kind
yeah.
of thing. Right?
We've done a few of those, yes. Unhappy people yelling at their meteorologist about a tornado that's, just slightly over a county
Yeah.
from them, and why are you denying my bachelor time?
Now, the one death was just was an elderly man who wore hearing aids and was asleep, and a car was thrown right into his bedroom.
Oh,
There was a second death that they didn't say was directly from the tornado, but I believe it was. There was another elderly woman in Dayton that had Alzheimer's, and she went out for a walk, and her husband didn't know where she was, and then they found her days later. So we're pretty sure that she got caught in the storm.
I'll tell you, the one guy, he needed the bed shaker.
That's right.
The radio that shakes your
Yeah.
bed from
Yes.
Midland
Yeah.
that
Yep.
that we
Bed
talked
shaker.
about before.
Yes.
Good old
I
bed
have that
shaker. So, all right. So we've got Curtis is watching us. Garrett is on watching us. Garrett said they just predicted a high
right
and
there.
active hurricane season. Huh? I didn't see
Yeah.
that.
Just come
Yeah.
out today,
Yeah, I
did
missed
it?
that today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't
they came out with,
surprise me.
I think it was 27 or something is the prediction or something like
Yeah.
that.
Something
Wow.
really, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like super high.
Damn.
Mhm.
Okay. Wow. They'll be back to their
Don't worry, he's watching. He'll correct us and put it in the comments.
Hey, Jen, tap your
Yeah.
microphone once. Just nope, it's
Yeah.
not. You're not using.
You're not
that.
using your mic.
Oh no,
Brady,
it's not
It's your
plugged in?
laptop.
Brady, tap yours. Okay, you are.
Yeah,
Yeah, Brazy's
he's good.
his.
He's the one
Oh.
that's bumping his table and all that
I
stuff.
Hey,
don't
you know
know
what?
if that's always him,
He's
but
getting excited. He's excited. That's okay.
Excited. I'm excited
That's
to
all right.
be here. All right?
Did you notice that the best audio tonight is from our guest?
it is
This is true.
Not surprised.
It's a high bar, man.
For
It's
sure.
a high bar.
Had to skip
Dan.
my game.
she sets a high bar, and we're sure to come under it.
Right, that's true.
We turn it into limbo.
Dan, you got any questions for McCall? Anything you want to share?
Yeah, wanted to see what lessons do you think were learned from the event?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, lessons learned, but certainly the emotion factor matters, and knowing that I can be truly, myself.
What the hell was it?
Somebody whose motorcycle
Whose
is that?
car was just
Somebody's
driving by?
racing.
It's from me, and that's
man.
my mic, or that's my computer. Yeah.
But really, now that like I was saying earlier, the not having a bar of knowing how bad an event can be, now I have an understanding of when I'm seeing these same type of ingredients coming together, what the potential and expectations might be. I will say that, thankfully, our emergency managers and the weather service and all of our local television stations have a very good community. And so we did really work together on that. So I think just learning more every day. So
Nice. Yeah, Garrett says 18 named storms, 7 to 9 hurricanes, and 2 to 3 major hurricanes. Thank you, Garrett.
There you go, Greg. In your face.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I think they were talking about maybe even eventually categorizing hurricane season to start earlier, not at June. I think it's
not
going to be
June
in like
1st.
May, right?
Just
Maybe
what
in
And
we
they
May.
decided to get rid of the Greek alphabet stuff if it goes too long, right?
Yeah, I think.
What are
you're
they going to do instead?
Yeah, I
think
didn't
they-
hear that
I
either.
should know this.
Apparently,
I
I can't answer these questions.
I think they have an alternate list of names.
Yeah, they're going to treat it
Wow.
like the Pacific.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ah, sounds like another round of hurricane name or supermodel.
supermodel.
is about to
let's
come back.
go. Get Dr. Hodgood come back and do it.
And I think, what is it? I
Giesel.
think I saw the list. Is Elsa and Anna perhaps on the list this year?
really?
Oh, really? Okay.
Let it
think
snow.
so.
Is it
let
me or is it
snow.
every meteorologist dream to like have your name on that list?
I don't think McCall will ever be on there.
I don't think Serena will be
Oh, it's
either, but
just a
I keep
matter
my
of time.
fingers
I don't
crossed,
know.
man.
I don't know.
They get some weird names.
Yeah.
They're coming out with Frozen 2. They've been saying they're going to come out with that
It's
for
been
years.
out. Where
It's
is
been
it?
out.
Yeah.
Hold on. I don't believe you.
Oh,
It's been out for years,
a
and
couple
I
years.
really like Frozen 2. I'm not gonna lie,
Oh, I guess.
Oh, do you like it better than the first one?
I do.
Oh my gosh!
Really?
Wow.
Frozen 2 is very good.
Garrett says just name him Junior after an earlier storm in the season.
Junior. Oh, my God.
That's awesome.
Okay. All right.
All
So
right.
here's what we'll do. We'll come back. I will start with a question for McCall. We'll kind of keep going from there. I'll say this, McCall. One thing I've wanted to do is really kind of ask you to walk us through what that night was like, Memorial Day night. What that was like for you. Unfortunately, I don't know how long that might take. It might be 4 hours, right?
I'm not going
So
to
I don't know if I'll start with that question or not because I don't
I'm a
wanna take
TV
too much
person. Tell
time.
me how many minutes you want me to talk about it. I got
There you
it
go.
right in front of me.
Well, we've got till 10:15, as you said, right? So maybe I'll start with that. I've got another good question too, but maybe I'll start with that one. I just want to feel for what it was like for you, right? I mean, what was that night like? So you talked a little bit about starting, what that leading into that night was as you were starting to realize. But yeah, I want to know, because have you had a night like that where you're that long
No.
covering?
I mean, when I first
killer
started,
tornadoes, yeah.
when I first started on air, we did Hurricane Irene when I was in New York, and so I was
Okay.
on for I don't even know how many hours, but totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I'll start with that. So anyway, we'll come back. We'll do questions. I'll start with that one. We'll kind of keep going. And then at some point, I would say maybe 9:50, 9:55 Eastern, I don't know, somewhere around there, we'll quick do our game show. I want to let our freaks know we're playing match game. So make sure you've got something to write down something on. So get a piece of paper and a pen handy. All freaks, all people on the show.
Still not, Jen.
Now we don't hear
Now
it
we
at
can
all.
hear you at all.
But we can
Jen's
hear
mic
you-
still.
We can hear you getting your paper.
Jen, talk. No,
Oh.
I can't even hear you talk now.
She's not muted.
But she's not talking. She's just smiling. Oh wait, now she's talking. It's like
All right,
she's-
so go
We gotta
to your
fix that.
go down to the bottom, the cam mic settings on the bottom of your screen, and then go to audio and look at your mic. There should be a drop down menu.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you, but no, we don't hear you at all.
No, not at all.
Like you are completely quiet. What kind of shitty setup does your boyfriend have?
Yeah, no kidding.
My God.
I'll text
What a
him.
nerd! What a
Jeez,
nerd!
I thought he was some like guru, social media. What kind of crap setup is that? Jeez. Is it Brian? Is his name Brian? Yeah, I thought so.
What's it?
Anyway,
Good luck.
Good luck.
good luck from Dan.
Hey, McCall, while we're waiting, have you ever seen a tornado?
Mm-mm.
No.
Oh, I've seen a water spout, but not a tornado.
All right, we're gonna get you. We're
kinda
gonna get
cool.
you. You're gonna take some vacation time in
Okay.
May, and we're gonna take you storm chasing.
Okay, I'm down. I might be a wuss, but that's fine.
In what way? Why would you be a wuss?
Because I've never seen one before. It will be
Oh.
thrilling and scary at the same time.
Okay, that's not a wuss.
Okay.
No, a wuss would be like, no, I'm getting out. I don't want to go anywhere close to seeing it. Too scary. Don't
No.
wanna see it at all.
But I'd be like,
no.
like giggling and
that's
crying
cool.
at the same
That's
time.
The fun part. That's the fun part.
Hey.
Oh, look, now she's stepping up the microphone.
We hear you now.
Yep.
Yeah, we
No,
hear you.
Yeah.
Talk. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can
That's
hear
a
you.
step
That
up. There you
works.
So he has totally redeemed himself.
He has.
in my
Yes.
eyes, because that sounds good now.
He's
Look at that
you
mic.
guys, the
That
thing
feels like-
is, there are 8 different microphones I can
Just-
choose from, and it wasn't connecting to this one for some reason.
Just tell him I unfollowed him, but now I might go back to follow him again. He might get my follow.
Follow you back again. Thank you.
All right, you sound good. All right, we're good. You guys ready?
Do it.
So anyway, McCall, we'll do some questions, and like I said, about 9:50, 9:55, right around there, we'll go to our lightning round game show.
Okay.
Play a little game show. We should be done by 10. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. I got to find the right sheet I'm on. Time for a break. All right, here we go. Coming back. 3, 2. Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're with McCall Vrydaghs. And so, McCall, you talked a little bit about that night, Memorial Day 2019 in Dayton. And it's interesting, Greg and I, before the show started, we were talking about, we were down in Kansas chasing that Linwood Lawrence, Kansas EF4 that was down there. And I was telling him, because I'm from Cincinnati, right? And all my friends that know I storm chase were like, dude, we had like big tornadoes right in your backyard. Where were you? And the point is these were at night. I mean, this was EF4 level tornadoes at night. And so this is always interesting to me for someone like you that's really kind of going through this kind of for the first time, right? A major tornado outbreak like this where you're going wire to wire late at night, covering these deadly tornadoes that are destroying property and people's lives. You talked about going into the evening, you kind of saw the signs that were pointing towards something serious potentially happening. I want to get just a feeling for what you were going through that evening and walk us through kind of what things you remember specifically about that night being on air, and even when maybe the times you might have gone off air, what were the things you really remember about that evening?
And that's actually a really good question, because I think if anybody goes through a traumatizing experience, your memory doesn't want you to remember sometimes. So, and I know I haven't gone back a lot to look at the coverage, but the things that I remember is as I was coming out of the 6 o'clock newscast, I saw that, our conditions in the area were favorable for tornadic activity. But at that time, we didn't even have a tornado watch. Shortly thereafter, I remember that the SPC increased our risk. We then eventually got a tornado watch in the Miami Valley. And then as we were getting into that 8 o'clock time frame, I saw there were just a couple of tornadoes. There was not an outbreak in Indiana, but a couple of tornadoes to our west. And I knew the environment in place. So I was confident that we were going to have a tornado warning, a couple of tornadoes moving into the area. So I remember telling our anchor, who always teams up when we have severe weather and especially tornadic coverage, that she needed to be back in the building if she was going to take a dinner break by 9 o'clock. That was when I figured we were going to see this stuff happening. And it was about 9:02-ish that we got our first tornado warning, which was also with a severe thunderstorm warning. It actually split the county of Wayne County, I believe. And that was our first storm that showed some rotation. It moved into Darke County. And immediately when it came in, it got its tornado warning with it. So as I was looking at that, I remember getting a comment on social media because I was looking at that as well as to what was happening. And someone asked what's going on in Mercer County because there was a tornado warned storm outside of Mercer County in the northern Miami Valley that had expired, and the Weather Service did not reissue a warning as it was coming into the county. So I went and I looked up that way. I didn't see much circulation there. So then I went back down to the tornado warned storm in Darke County. And then a minute or two later, the circulation up in Mercer County blew up, and it quickly created a debris signature, went right through these homes that we would eventually find out the next day was where our one fatality was. There was an elderly man that was asleep in his bed. He had hearing aids, but they were not in, and was completely unaware that there was what would then be determined an EF3 tornado barreling down on Salina. So then I'm tracking two tornado warnings. You have the one in Darke County and one up in Mercer County. And then several more circulations start to evolve. We had a few more in the northern Miami Valley. One started to move into not Mercer County, West Milton and Laura. Those showed debris signatures. And at that point, I was like, oh my goodness, we have 3 confirmed tornadoes. I know that they've touched down. This is already way more than we've typically have in a year in a storm system.
And you saw those debris signatures, so it was hitting something, right?
Yeah. Because debris signatures, if you know radar and what debris signatures are, that's picking up non-meteorological items. So this is going to be trees, houses, things that are not rain or hail. And to be clearly seen on radar is an indication that it's a pretty significant tornado that's touched down. That was when I got emotional. And then shortly thereafter, the big EF4 tornado developed in northwestern Montgomery County, which is our main county. And the way that the setup was, there was a warm front that was draped pretty much from the northwest to the southeast. So that tornado rode the boundary and was a right-moving tornado, which was even more scary because if you know anything about tornadoes, anything that's turning to the right, people are just not expecting it to go in that direction. And I also realized where our location was in the studio. And while I'm trying to deal with all of that, I'm thinking, am I going to have to send everybody in this station to their safe spot? And what am I going to do? I'd never really thought about, you think about it, but you never really think, oh, am I going to have to make a life or death type of situation? So that's kind of something that's, in the back of my mind. And then, continuing to track it. And then we got the considerable tag from the Weather Service at about 10:50. And then at about 10:54-55, the tornado emergency got issued. And that it just now gave me chills because everybody that knows what a tornado emergency is or has ever had to say on air that there's a tornado emergency, Like at that moment, I'm like, people are dead. We're going to wake up tomorrow and we're going to have dozens of people killed and, I don't know how many injured. And it's moving through this area. And so then that tornado, we tracked that through Dayton. Mind you, there are also other tornado warnings happening. And so then I'm having to at times break away from this incredible tornado to try and also inform people elsewhere that there's other tornadoes out there. And just how do I let people know what's happening? And that tornado moved through and redeveloped in Beaver Creek. When it picked up, it redeveloped, and coming right behind it, pretty much riding the same path, was another tornado. And this went on for hours and hours. And I just remember looking down at the clock and just saying, is this ever going to end? Like, are these ever going to stop? And eventually they did. And, I felt very overwhelmed, kind of numb from that experience. I remember I could barely sleep that night. I got home probably around 2 a.m. and woke up at 5 because I couldn't really sleep, and just was waiting for the body count to come in, and was happy to hear that it wasn't as deadly as it was. And then went down to Old North Dayton to see what it looked like, and I could not believe what I was seeing. And the weirdest thing about it, and I talked about it with my coworkers, that you drive like 10 minutes away and it's as if nothing happened and people are just living their life.
Wow.
And then you go into these tornado damaged areas and it looked like a bomb went off.
McCall, do you have a sense of how fast the tornadoes were moving ground speed?
Oh, they were slow. If I remember, they were moving at like 35 or 40 miles per hour.
Yeah.
They were so slow, and they were just I don't know, buzzsawing everything as it was going through.
Well, you're like a true hero. I hope you realize that.
People tell me that, but I don't. The only thing that I can equate it to, and it honestly is not at the same level, is like a firefighter or a police officer. The building is burning and the fireman is running in. And they're not thinking about being a hero. It's just what they do. And what I do is what I did that night. I didn't put myself in any danger like firemen and police officers do, but that was what I was trained to do. And so when people say that I'm a hero, it's like, well, that was my job. That's what I was supposed to do. But I appreciate it. And I can't tell you how many people I've met that have just yesterday, I went to a Habitat groundbreaking, and I met a person there, and they just started crying and they gave me a hug. Even though it's COVID, you just have to embrace in that moment.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, McCall! Seriously, you really did save so many lives, and it takes not every meteorologist can do what you did. Saving those lives and being on camera for that long and doing that. So you should know that you're an amazing person. And with that said, I kind of want to transition to the flooding event that you had as well,
Mm-hmm.
or the 100-year flood event. I want to know, the predictability of something like that. Did you guys think that was going to happen? Did the National Weather Service predict those, rain amounts? What exactly happened with that as well?
It's funny that you bring that one up too, because it was another warm frontal event, and we just had a warm front that just basically became an occluded front. It was a stationary front, should I say, was going nowhere. And we just had storm after storm after storm. Our precipitable water amounts were crazy. We knew that there was a flooding threat, obviously, but not like that. And where this rain set up hit a creek bed that was on the point of I-70 highway that is one of its lowest points. And so the creek bed itself just overflowed and just backed up, and just the whole highway was underwater. It was insane. But again, you go 15 miles east or west, and the amount of rain that fell there was nothing like what would happen in that localized area. And that's why, we talk about as meteorologists, flash flooding is so dangerous and it's so hyper local, and that you need to take it seriously.
Hey, that is the sound, McCall. It is time for our lightning round.
Okay.
So this is our game show of what we call what do we call it?
Brilliant.
Fun,
Brilliant.
flashy,
Brilliant,
flashy. That was the
Brilliant,
word. Flashy and
ingenious
brilliant.
questions, right?
Yep, flashy and brilliant. Those are the two words I was looking for. Questions. So here's the key. We invite everybody to play along with us. If you're watching live, you can also chime in on the chat. But we're going to play a fun one. This is one of my favorites tonight. We're going to play a little weather match game. So here's what's great about match games. So we've got our freaks. They are our kind of pseudo celebrity panelists, right? And you McCall, you are our contestant. And so I'm going to read a statement, and there's going to be a blank in the statement, and you're going to come up with something to fill that blank with, right? An answer.
Okay.
Your goal is to try and match as many of the freaks as possible with your answer. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
It
Are you
makes
familiar
sense.
with match game? You know that game?
Yes, but I'm going to say there's a disadvantage here because usually in match game, you somewhat know the people a little bit more to try and guess what they're going to say.
Yeah, well, you got real celebrities, and we don't have real celebrities. That's the
think-
difference.
Get up.
McCall, just think of the dumbest stuff you can think of.
That's what we'll do.
All right, so here's the first one, ladies and gentlemen. When I told my grandma I was getting a degree in climatology, she thought I was going to be a professional blank. So when I told my grandma I was getting a degree in climatology, she thought I was going to be a professional blank. So McCall, you fill in the blank. Your goal is to try and match as many of the freaks as possible.
Oh my gosh.
I'll give you a few minutes to think of your answer.
Let me
Freaks,
think.
you got to write yours down.
You know, I'm trying to.
Okay.
You know when
All right,
like,
everybody
one
about
answer,
ready?
one answer pops in your head and you just can't think of any others and you're just
All
like,
right.
"That's
Well,
just-
sometimes that's the right one. So when I told my grandma I was going to get a degree in climatology, she thought I was going to be a professional McCall what? Professional what?
nail tech.
Nail tech. Good old climatology. No, Greg, we're not ready for your answer yet. That's not how the game works. Hold tight. Hold tight. Bring your horse back a little bit, buddy. All right. So nail tech is what we're going with. So let's see what our pseudo celebrity said. So Greg, I'll start with you since you're so energetic. What did you say?
I have no idea what that
What, I can't read it. What'd you say?
I said nail tech.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Wow,
Hey,
nail
you
tech.
said
There we
nail
go.
tech.
Okay, yeah, there we
Why
go. I
can't
see it. Pull it back a little bit.
I
All
did
right,
see nail tech.
nail tech. So we got one. All right, MJ, you're up. What'd you say?
I said rock climber.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Not bad, not bad. All right,
Climatology.
Jen, with the professional setup there, we can barely hear you, but let's say what's your answer?
So I'm thinking grandma is just kind of just out of it completely, a professional dancer.
Dancer. Woo!
Okay, I got
Yeah,
it.
but that doesn't match. Good answer, but doesn't match. All right, Serena, what'd you have?
I said professional sex therapist.
I just learned a lot about Serena.
That's the climatology I want to get into.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, Brady, what did you have?
I said
wanna know
an AC maintenance person. And there's someone who's very
one.
cold.
All right. Well, so McCall, you got one. All right, so here we go. Last one. During a live broadcast of tornado-warned storms, the meteorologist was sharing pictures of damage sent to her phone from viewers when all of a sudden she accidentally displayed a picture of blank.
Oh no.
So this is a live broadcast, right? You've been there, McCall. Tornado-warned storms, and the meteorologists, they were sharing pictures of damage that were sent to their phone from viewers when all of a sudden she accidentally displayed a picture of blank. So you think of your answer, freaks. Give you a couple seconds here to write yours down.
See, I'm thinking about sex now. I'm like, my head is in the worst position ever right now.
Usually how these games go.
All right, so here we go.
in
Freaks,
there.
you ready? So we got this. All right, McCall. So live broadcast, tornado-warned storms, and this particular meteorologist was sharing pictures of damage that was sent to their phone, and all of a sudden she accidentally displayed a picture of blank. What did she display a picture of?
My husband in his undies.
The husband in the underwear. The good old husband. Now, I don't know how many people have pictures of their husbands in their underwear, but I'm sure that's out there. So I'm going to start, Brady, with you. See if we can match. What did she have pictures of that she all of a sudden showed?
Well, I can tell you we're not going to match. Foot warts.
Footboards.
I feel like
That-
that's less
Or
likely to be on
anything.
my
That
phone.
would be
Brady.
disgusting.
Yeah, who's got pictures of their footboards
Really?
Yeah.
on that?
I don't. That's why I said it. That's why I said
right.
it. I don't know.
All right, Serena, what'd you have? They have pictures of what?
I just said their child. I wanted to not see
yeah.
R-rated.
I shouldn't have
So,
been.
so were you the one with the sex therapist, and then you go to the safe
Yeah,
child
yeah.
answer? That's wow.
It's called balance.
Yeah. Okay. Is that what you call that? Okay. All right, Jen. What did she show pictures? Boobs.
Oh
No.
man.
Not quite a match.
The sex therapist got me.
She had pictures of her boobs. All right, MJ.
I'm going with Serena. I had her kid.
Her kid.
See, I should have done it.
All right.
That was my second thought.
Not a match. All right, Greg, you're our last saving grace.
I think McCall and I are on the same page tonight because I didn't quite get it right, but I've got full moon, but I have a little winky face.
Full moon.
Oh,
All right, we'll call that a match. That is definitely a match.
good job.
So anyway, congratulations, McCall. Good job. Good job.
you.
Thanks for playing, if nothing else. So do this. So first off, tell our listeners how they can find you on social media, but you've got your own podcast. So just talk a little bit about the podcast and what that's all about.
So my podcast is Cloudy with a Chance of Podcast. I co-host with my coworker, meteorologist Kirsty Zontini, and we talk about all things weather. It's usually a bi-monthly podcast that we do. She was just on maternity leave, so now we're going to get our episodes back up and running. And so we talk about all types of sciences and weather, and so go check it out. It's on wherever you get your podcast from. And then as far as finding me on social media, I have a Facebook account, a Twitter account, and Instagram, and I'm active on all three of them. And if you can spell Vrydaghs, then you'll be able to find me.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll put it in our show notes so people can get a direct link to you that way. So I'll tell you what, hey, they're back to their original name, everybody, and they're full of great gear for the weather geek. If you go to helicity.co, they've got a huge selection of weather-themed merchandise, including Stormfront Freaks shirts, beverage containers, and stickers. So go to helicity.co, just click on the brands tab, and you'll find all those great Stormfront Freaks favorites. Hey, it's time for our final break. We're going to be coming back with hashtag WeatherFools, WX Resources, and we're going to get a visit from Weather Trollbot 5000. So you got to stay tuned.
All right, smile, everyone. I'm taking a screenshot.
All right. Hey, McCall, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
going
you.
to ask for one favor before you leave.
Okay.
If you can do a quick soundbite for us and just say, hey, this is McCall Vrydaghs, and you're listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Yep.
Or you can say chief meteorologist. You can say whatever. Give yourself a title.
Okay. All right. You ready?
Yep.
I'm Chief Meteorologist McCall Vrydaghs, and you're listening to Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Bravo.
Oh, well done, McCall.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, hey, I
Well
appreciate
done.
the time tonight. Just so you know, we will post the audio podcast on Sunday. Okay. So I'll probably do something on social media and tag you on it so you're at least aware of it. But you were awesome. That was a lot of fun. Thanks
I
for
had
the
to.
stories.
I wish I didn't have to leave. I was having too much fun. right, thank
That's
you.
what everybody says by the time they're leaving. Unfortunately, they don't say that right away at the beginning. So, I'm glad they feel that way once they're done.
McCall,
time.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
See
Yeah.
you guys.
Thank you. Have a
to
great
be
night.
here.
Bye.
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 Yeah.
She was awesome.
Yeah.
So, Dan, what'd you think?
You're muted.
You're muted.
I think he
Dan,
loved
you're
it.
muted.
Yeah.
He loved it.
What, Brady? You know, it was a good interview.
It was good. Yeah, that was interesting.
That's a little more emotion than we usually come up with on this show, Phil.
Yeah, it was hard to break to lightning
round.
round.
Yeah, right.
After that,
Yeah.
I was like, "Ooh, this is going to be a tough transition."
But that is remarkable that there was only one
It
It
is.
was insane.
fatality. Like that's like if any of you ever actually looked at the like Googled the damage photos or the damage images and video and stuff from that.
I saw
tornado,
some. I mean, not extensively, but
like it was like full on real deal through an urban
yeah.
area. Like there should have been way more casualties from that. But amazing.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. I can't even imagine.
Alrighty, so what's Garrett and Curtis talking about?
Not only that,
Probably-
Greg, but the
probably
radar
something-
signature, man, was just crazy. I mean, that
Yeah.
you don't see that, in Ohio or in the Ohio Valley ever.
What was the name? Greg, what do you
Maybe-
Google
maybe-
for
maybe,
the
yeah.
tornado? For the damage?
Just
Jen,
Google
Jen, you got to
date-
turn your volume up somehow. You're really quiet.
I am.
Well,
just get
or
closer.
get closer to the mic.
Yeah.
Really
I
close to
turned
the mic
I
right
turned
here,
it
but
up as much
I'm
as I
not.
could, but
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Jen, just Google Dayton, Ohio 2019 tornado, or just Google Memorial Day tornado 2019, and it'll pop up. But some of the videos are crazy, and yeah, the damage photos are nuts. Dan, have you seen any drone footage from that
I
Dayton?
didn't. No.
No, I haven't seen any either, but I think that would be really interesting to see.
Oh wow, yeah, I see some. Like looking at the damaged photos now. Holy crap, that thing! That was.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, Greg. That is not.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett, what were you doing in Eastern Ohio Memorial Day night?
Oil.
Oh,
Fracking.
wicked lightning and straight line winds.
or frack, yeah.
There you
Wow.
go. Eastern Ohio. Whereabouts? Garrett, tell us whereabouts Eastern Ohio.
I can't imagine I'm going to be by all that equipment in lightning. That sounds
Yeah, I know. Holy cow.
thrilling.
Yeah, really.
I
Not where I
remember.
want to be in a storm.
I remember
No.
in I think it was 20, might have been 2013 or 2014. There was a oil rig in Kansas. They got taken out by a tornado, and there was a whole sort of short documentary on it. I'll have to find that and share it with you guys. But yeah, there's a lot of issues with the oil and gas with the tornadoes.
While we're doing stuff, if you got weather fools or weather resources, go ahead and share your screens.
Oh, I gotta pull that crap up. Darn it.
All that.
So
you guys
Garrett
didn't do the whole Top Golf
Here's
video last time, did you?
Which one?
It was on. I can't remember if we did it on the podcast or if it was on social media.
Yeah, I think it was just social media.
I think it was
don't
just
remember
social
talking about
media.
it.
I'm gonna do that one then.
Which one?
The
Top Golf.
you'll see. You'll see.
The golf.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that one. and I thought
No,
it would
Phil,
be a
you.
good one.
I thought Phil, you did do it on the show.
Did he?
Yeah, you did. You did it on the
I-
show
I don't think
with the
did I?
lightning
I
and the
might have.
storm in the background.
It was
and
March 29th. So
and the guys were drinking and at the
Let me
driving. Are you
quick
talking about the
look.
driving range?
Did we do?
Yep.
Look at here. I
yeah,
got the.
Top
Yeah.
Golf driving range. Yeah.
Sorry, MJ. I'm trying to share my screen, but it keeps doing this flicker thing. But it's working now. So
Okay.
All right. So
MJ, you should see mine
UAB
and everything
outages
I'm
coming
Googling.
home. That wasn't
check
on
in
that
just a second.
episode.
I'm looking at damage.
Storm Chaser, patio, video, Colorado snow tubing. Wasn't that
No.
show?
No,
Well, so
because
it was
it happened
March
March 29th. So you
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
do
No,
it.
I didn't do
It's
it.
not in there. No.
I didn't do it.
Yes.
Cool.
It's open.
Bam.
It's open game.
Let's go. Dibs. All right.
I
who else
saw
has got
that
a-
one and
a
thought it was
full?
pretty good. But
I have
let's see, Jen, Greg,
So-
Serena. I see yours. So
mine.
I didn't do a weather fool. I have the weather.
I have a weather resource too.
resource,
Which is
yeah.
fine.
I have two fools. Well, one is not necessarily a fool. It's just kind of cool seeing the hail bounce off of the thing.
Well,
Phil's
okay.
call.
Come on. Is it a weather fool or is it just something?
Well, I mean, you
I
wouldn't
don't
want to be
care,
out there
whatever.
standing underneath.
It's all about
Make
how
it-
you. It's all about how you phrase it, Jen. Just be like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you got to just spin it.
out.
Spin
I'm
it.
gonna sell it,
Spin
guys.
it so
I'm
someone's a
think I
fool
see
or
someone in the
something is a
corner.
fool.
Yeah, there was a blur. Someone ran by in a blur across the screen. That person's a fool.
Yeah.
And I'd be like,
Who-
yeah,
like
that's
where'd the video come from? Like maybe that person was a fool because they were close enough to
Exactly.
it.
Yeah,
Well,
there you
this
go.
is true, and that's like there's a one outside with a transformer that blows up right there, and I don't think it's a tornado warning; it's a severe thunderstorm warning, and they're stupid for just being out there.
Phil, I don't see your screen. Just so
Yeah.
and I have a
hold
weather
on.
resource too.
Oh, I guess they only had one. Okay.
So Jen has a
had
weather
more than
resource. Who else is it? Who else has a resource?
I have a resource. Serena.
I have a resource.
Greg and Phil.
Actually-
Brady, I have a fool.
Okay.
Am I doing weather resources though, Phil?
Yes.
Oh, you're okay. Cool. I thought I was
Yeah,
doing it.
because
Sweet.
I moved you to introduction,
Awesome.
and so since I brought Greg in to replace Kim, he's doing your. Sorry, lack of communication there from the.
I am
Whatever,
flexible.
guys.
Watch me bend
You do a
and
pretty
stretch.
good job. You do a pretty good job. So
I
don't
appreciate
don't
it.
be too hard on yourself, man.
All right, I gotta share my
For
screen.
introducing the Weather Trollbot 5000, what should I say, Phil?
So, well, you know the Weather Trollbot 5000, right? So, bought her at a garage. It's a robot we reprogrammed. And what we do is we search social media and the internet for examples where our weather friends were trolled by mean or not nice people. And what we do is we take their professional response to that mean troll, and we plug all that into our weather troll bot, and she's going to kick out what our weather friend was really thinking because they replied professionally, but they're not thinking that, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
weather troll bot tells us what they were really thinking.
I love it. Okay, beautiful.
So does that make sense?
It does make sense. I'm going to try to word it exactly.
It's like the R-rated thought bubble.
It is. I love the Weather Trollbot 5000. That's why I'm a part of the show.
What am I sharing? I'm sharing
Oh, wow.
Google, I guess. All right.
Hold on, I have
someone
who's doing?
was-
Sorry, I was reading here. Who is doing Weather Fools?
Brady.
Brady's doing Weather
I-
Fools.
I have one, Brady. I just need to
Okay.
get it to MJ.
All right, so we got 4 for Weather Fools.
I don't know. You just have to put it on your screen. I've got your screen already. So
Yeah. I just got to get the link there though.
Man, I'm seeing like a crazy image of damage from one of the Dayton tornadoes. It's like insane. This like I don't know, piece of wood, it like sliced right into the top of this.
Phil, do you think if you would have been close enough, would you have chased it?
Not at night.
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
Night chasing
not at night.
is just so terrifying.
I've got no interest in chasing at night, especially solo. Like if I'm by myself, which I usually am.
Yeah.
No interest.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought about it.
Smart.
Me and one of my friends were literally, I was about to pick them up, and then we're just like, probably not a good idea.
Because here's the truth. I mean, what's the purpose? I mean, what are you going to see? What are you going to be able to photograph? What are you going to be able to
Nothing.
Well,
nothing.
There's
nothing.
nothing, and put yourself in danger.
But also, Phil, she said it was moving pretty slow, and in the world of tornadoes, 30 miles an hour, pretty slow. But in an urban area, you can't do 30 miles an hour and keep up with it. Like you're in harm's
True.
way.
Another good point.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Well said, Greg.
All right, so
All right.
we got me, Phil, Greg, and Jen, Weather Fools. Let's do this.
You guys ready? All right. So Brady, you'll come in on the applause and song.
Yep.
Greg, you've got little rock star. That's what you're coming into.
Oh my gosh.
That's WX Resources, and then Weather Trollbot. You got a little Mr. Roboto. Okay.
I like it.
Phil, you're crackling just a little bit. I don't
I'm
know why.
crackling.
You were.
You're crackling. What are you talking about? You're crackling.
I'm just telling you.
The sibling
I'm bumping his
rivalry
cable
is
Yeah.
through my
great.
mic.
All right. We'll hope.
Here we go. All right, coming in, Brady, in 3, 2.
You're hearing this sound? You guys know what time it is. It is time for Weather Fools, where for those of you that, if your first time on the show, or you just, a little forgetful and forgot what Weather Fools is, Weather Fools is us as the freaks. We're going on the internet, like Phil says, the dark web, Twitter, anything that we can find a video or some sort of situation that we can show you where it's someone doing something that's not so smart and it deals with the weather. Greg, who is your weather fool this week?
This one's pretty great. I'm assuming this is somewhere, I'm going to say like in Russia it says Siberia right there on it.
It's always Russia.
Yeah,
it always is.
yeah.
That's my go-to.
Okay. So here you're going to see, it looks like some sort of giant truck, like a military vehicle. And as I play this, he's driving across the ice. Now, clearly somebody knows something's about to happen because they're filming a truck just driving down the ice road. And so let's put this into motion, and you're going to watch. Oh, there he had a little wobble.
No.
Now,
It's a duck boat.
Now, the best part of this is now that the truck's
duck boat.
halfway submerged, the guys get out and they're trying to rescue their stuff. Now, watch the driver here.
Jeez.
As the truck disappears, he's like, damn it.
That truck disappears so fast.
It's
It's
He's
gone.
going to throw a rock at it. Like,
That was
rotten
scary.
truck.
Oh,
I couldn't
gosh.
believe how fast that went in and under. And
But I mean, what are you doing driving a truck this time of
No
year over
kidding,
top
that's
of the ice
huge,
road?
too.
I don't
That's
know.
like
Well,
it's not like a river. That's a lake,
well, and it was so stupid to get like someone was videoing it, so they knew something bad was going to happen, and then it just is. Oh, it just did. So
here's the question: was it like a beat up Russian truck that they were going to do this on purpose for, and they're like, "Hey, let's get some views." I
don't
mean,
know,
this
man.
looks a
You're
little
taking your
planned,
li-
maybe.
You're taking your life in your hands, though. I
This
mean,
is-
yeah,
that's true. That's a good
That's still
point.
foolish, no matter how you do it.
That's
plus that was
very
such a
good
genuine reaction. Like he is, you can visibly tell he is very upset when he gets out of that truck,
yeah, I think it's
shaking
real.
his fists.
I think they weren't planning on that happening.
I like how
Not
Garrett
happy.
says Ice Road Truckers Comrade Edition.
Wow.
That's good.
I love
Well,
that.
That's a pretty great one, Greg. I think that definitely qualifies as a weather fool. Let's go over to Phil. Phil, who is your weather fool this week?
All right, so good old James Band. He's always good to go to for some good weather fool Twitter shares. And this is no different. So this was James Spann and a severe thunderstorm at Pensacola Beach on his Twitter account. And so watch this video. So I've got to imagine this looks like probably like a hotel, with the automatic sliding doors. And so there's this thunderstorm happening, and there's two guys trying to hold the two doors shut so they don't automatically open. And you can see the water and the rain and everything outside just going sideways with the heavy winds.
hurricane.
Yes.
And guys, they're standing right next to these windows, these massive windows during this heavy storm, and they pull away. So now they're not holding the doors, and all of a sudden the doors start to open
Oh,
Yeah.
because of the movement. They're like, "Oh my God, we got to shut these doors."
Wow.
But the point is like that's the last place you want to be during heavy winds, is trying to hold glass doors shut. Like I'm not volunteering for that position. Just go seek shelter. That's maybe the best option.
I love that they still have their masks on, though.
So they won't get glass in their mouth.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. You can tell when they let go right here. They were just like, let's see what happens. And they were just they just wanted something crazy to happen. But
There's locks on those. You could lock them. Oh my gosh.
yeah. Well, that definitely qualifies as a weather fool Phil as well. Glad that, none of them got hurt. Because that just wasn't very smart. All right, Jen, who is your weather fool this week?
This is from the same storm in Pensacola, actually, but this is
Wow.
another stupid person. So watching this right now, they're outside on their porch, and if you watch Phil's video and then watch this one that I'm showing, like that wind, that severe wind.
Wow.
I mean, even if it's not a tornado warning, but a severe thunderstorm warning, you still need to get inside because what you see, that's a transformer.
I was just
blowing
going to
up.
say, that looks like a
Yeah.
transformer exploding.
Yeah,
It
wow.
is. It
Jeez.
is. And severe wind. It doesn't take a tornado to cause a transformer to explode. So, and damage and anything else. So, this person was not very smart, like literally outside filming this. They're not even behind a
But Jen, can we be honest?
yeah.
We would all be doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
This is
We are all
true.
weather fools.
This is true. This is what not to do. What
Takes
not
one
like,
to
hey,
know one.
I'll just say this: like those of you living in Pensacola, not looking so good right now.
No.
Here on Stormfront Freaks,
No.
at the combined IQ of weather IQ of people in Pensacola.
And
Oh,
they got
man.
some good storms in Florida this week because this is another one from Florida. This is from Springs, Florida, and this is hailstorm And you can see they've got like a screened in porch. Their pool is screened in, and all the hail is bouncing off, which is kind of fun to see. But it's not the smartest place to be, especially.
Yeah, let's stand under it.
Yeah, and standing underneath it. Like, you don't know if that's going to break through, it's going to hit you on the head, or if there's a lightning strike. Like, I'm terrified of lightning. And during a hailstorm or any kind of thunderstorm, get inside. And if it's severe, like, get in a safe place. Don't get.
I don't think that screen is lightning proof. We'll just say that. I don't think lightning's be like, nope, not going through the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Mr. Lightning said. Yeah. I'm not going through that screen. Like a Muppet.
Wow. Yeah, Jen. I can't say that I probably be doing the same thing, but let's be real. I'm a fool sometimes too. So that was a pretty great weather fool. I'll wrap us up here. So this was from March 29th, and this was actually tweeted out by SportsCenter, which it's not very often you get SportsCenter tweeting out weather things. But this was a TikTok, and I'll just expand this full screen here. And these guys were at Topgolf, and you can see bucket list idea. Go to Topgolf during a tornado. I'm not exactly sure where this was, but the video is basically them going and playing Topgolf, and you can see the wind is really picking up, and they're just hitting golf balls like nothing's going on. And then you just see some like debris and dust. Yes. It looks like the tornado's like right on them. And
then the lightning strike comes though. Right away.
Yeah. And they're just playing. And then this giant lightning strike comes and it's just and it says, there's a lightning strike.
Also, ugly swing by that guy too.
Yeah. Not a great swing. Not a great swing. But I'll say this. If there's a tornado, don't go to Topgolf and don't, probably go inside.
Yeah, that's like a lightning rod.
So Brady, here's the thing. So you've been to Topgolf a few times because you introduced some of us to Topgolf in Oklahoma City when we were together. I had a question, and I can't remember who it was from. Might have even been one of our Patreon members, Curtis. But they asked, so where do you go? Like in a severe storm or tornado warning, where in Topgolf do you think you go for shelter?
I'm gonna be honest, it's pretty open. Most of the Topgolfs I've been to are very open. I mean, maybe the bathroom. There's got to be a bathroom on the lower floor. But that's about it. They don't really have that many enclosed spaces. So
where do all those balls go? Can you go like underneath?
Yeah, underneath.
Where all those balls
I guess you could go under. Yeah, there is some. I don't know if everyone would fit, but I'd squeeze them in there.
Yeah. MJ, I think we just found the title of this week's episode. Where did the balls go?
So you can find all that on episode 129, in our show notes. Yeah, I didn't share that with you, Brady. Sorry. But yeah, episode 129. And a lot of times if you're listening to us on your smartphone, the show notes will usually be right there on your smartphone in whatever app you're listening to us on. You can find all those videos. So
Been a minute since I've heard this song.
All right, Griggles.
Right on, man. This is time for weather resources. This is where the freaks share with you some of our favorite weather resources, weather websites, apps, tools, anything that we think is going to help you in your journey with weather. And so let's start off with MJ. Did you have a weather resource? No, you didn't have a weather resource. I totally blew that. I'm sorry, MJ. Hands up. Thank you, Serena. Let's go to Serena first. Weather resources.
Sure, why not? So I am posting something that one of my favorite New England meteorologists, Eric Fisher, had reposted from Space Weather. Did you know you can have naders on the sun? I had no idea. So if you take a look at this little image here, you can see at the bottom left these like tornadoes that are caused by magnetism. They're 10 times taller than the Earth, people. And so I am just such a sucker for like these types of crazy things that can happen in the universe, not just on Earth, but everywhere. I think space weather is super cool. So if you follow at Space Weather on Twitter, you can see some awesome things like naders on the sun. So, I mean, that's just awesome.
Naders on the Sun. That is a great weather resource. Phil, let's go to yours. What do you got for us?
Name of a
All
cocktail,
right,
by the
so
way.
we're going old school. You guys and this especially for Jen. Remember the old weather at the 8s? What'd they call it?
Oh yeah, local on the 8th.
Local at the
Local,
8s.
yeah.
Sorry,
Yes.
my bad.
Local on the
So this is I don't know how you pronounce this. Taganet.com. TAIGANET. Taganet.com. But here's what this is. This is so cool. It's an old school software that you can download. It's free, and it will run the old Weather Channel Local 8s on your laptop, on your computer desktop, whether it's Windows, iOS, or Linux.
That's amazing.
And it will do it for your location. It'll show all the old school Weather 8 stuff. You can actually design your own layouts and music playlists, so you can update your own playlist
Nice.
with it. What music
No
you
way.
want. You
Get all
can
the
add
feels.
your own crawl messages to the bottom. So if you want to do something, say something cool, happy birthday to somebody, or do something like that, you can run all this on your screen. And of course, you could even share this. Like if I wanted to, I could run it right now and share it with you, and you would see the old weather at the 8th. What the forecast? What was it again?
Weather on
Local
the 8th.
8th.
Or local
on
on
the
the
8th, yeah.
Local on the 8th.
Yeah.
Local on the 8th. So old school Weather Channel stuff. This is pretty cool. So you got to go to TAIGANET.com.
Phil,
I'm going to
where'd
go
you
get that
find
like right now. That is awesome.
Where did you get that? Where'd you find that, Phil? Oh my
Actually, we had a listener that showed us, because I'll be honest with you, there was another version that I was using. It was a little simpler. I don't remember it right now, but it was a little. It didn't have as many options you could do with it, so it was pretty simple. But it did the same thing. Did the weather at the 8s? You just typed in your zip code, and boom, all the weather and all the forecasts. Did the old 8-bit, images of everything. And we had a listener come back and say, "Hey, have you seen this one?" And it was even more advanced. You could do more with it. You could customize it more. Pretty cool.
I
Very
love
cool.
it, Phil.
That is
Very cool. And Jen, you have a weather resource for us as well.
I do. And I'm always thinking about teaching my daughter weather. She's 3, so a lot of this is over her head. I still teach it to her anyway. And actually she gets some of it. I asked her the other day, why are there no clouds in the sky? She's like, because the sky is dry, because a cold front had just moved through. And I was like, we're getting there. But this is SciJinx, SCIJINKS, .gov. And it's great because it's an amazing resource for, you could teach your toddlers weather like I do, or wait till they're a little bit older in grade school. But it goes from how does a hurricane form to rainbow clouds to what is a gust front, what is an ice jam, nor'easters. It breaks it down, and there's this whole fun crew up here that makes it fun for kids. They're little characters, and they help explain the weather as well. Like, what is precipitation? It's like a little bear in a raincoat.
So Jen, that was what was the? I'm just writing this down for my own personal use. What was the website called?
It's SciJinx, so SCI and then JINKS.gov.
Clever.
.gov. Awesome.
And they've got games too. So if sometimes you're still working home with your toddler child, you can, put one of these on or have them go through some of these while you're in a meeting or doing some work, and actually, get them some fun weather education. So
Right on. Very, very cool. And topical, given the fact that there's still lots of the kids that are being homeschooled or working from home. So that's great. Thanks, Jen. MJ, my weather resource for today is I'm going to share a YouTube channel. And this is a guy from Sydney, Nova Scotia, up here in Canada.
Frankie!
A guy by the name
That's Frankie.
Guy by the name of Frankie McDonald. Now, some of you know him. If you don't follow Frankie, here's why I want to share him as a weather resource. Frankie, like all of us, is passionate about weather. He loves the weather. And so for those of you who don't know who Frankie is, he has autism, and he just loves and is passionate about what he does, and he gives forecasts whenever there's severe weather. And if you get a chance to just sit down and watch him, you will see pure joy talking about weather. And I think we all need that right now. And that's my weather resource.
Nice.
Right
Greg,
on.
I love that you shared that with us. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
I love
that
Frankie.
so much.
Yeah, Frankie's awesome. So there you go, Phil. That's our weather resources. Episode 129 show notes will have all of those links available for you, and you can download them and check them out.
Guess what, guys? It's one of the best times of the show. It's Weather Trollbot 5000. So this is what happened. Phil went to some garage sales and he found this like robot, and he was like, "What is this?" And he's decided to keep it for himself. And it's called the Weather Trollbot 5000. And so what we do is we scour the internet and we look for the trolls, that troll all the meteorologists around the world. And we're just like, okay, we check out their professional responses, but you always wonder, what were they really thinking? How did they really want to respond? And so what we do is we type those answers into Weather Trollbot 5000 and we get the true response. So it's going to happen right now, guys.
So what's with that voice, Jen?
I like it, though. I like it.
I feel like when you introduce Weather Trollbot 5000, it should be like that.
I agree. I agree.
That's hilarious. All right. Well, so I've got
perfect.
two. We've got two to share with you guys tonight. So here we go. The first one, you're gonna like this, guys. This is on Twitter. It comes from the troll is Rampage Titties Jackson.
Oh God.
Rampage Titties Jackson.
Sounds like a good guy.
What a
Do
winner.
I already have to bleep that out? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. So this, so the Twitter handle is @LambJacksRage, and this was a comment to Oklahoma City TV meteorologist Emily Sutton, and he says, "Why does Emily Sutton look like she's always dressed for prom? It's just the weather, though." Right, so apparently he thinks
This
she's
is a
always,
take on the whole "you're just a weather girl" comment.
seems like it, right? It's just the weather. Why are you dressing up, right, in a prom dress? So what we have to know is what was Emily's professional response? Because our weather friends, they're just the nicest people in the world. They're unlike a lot of us, right? They're going to respond professionally. And so here's what Emily said. Her response was, "No, if it was a prom, I'd have to bust out this gem, #2002. And she shared a photo of her back in the day in her prom dress.
Nice.
Please tell me there were shoulder pads.
Wow.
I don't know, 2002.
Yeah,
No,
not
2002. No, I think it was bare. It might have been bare shoulders, actually.
Okay, all right.
Too. So she was having fun, right? Just busting that out. But when she first saw that comment, right? We know what she was really thinking was not, I'm going to be, and share a picture of my old prom dress. So we're going to type all this into Weather Trollbot.
Here we go.
And then Weather Trollbot's going to do some calculations. And then it's going to, Weather Trollbot kicks out what Emily was really thinking.
Here is what Emily was really thinking. Hey, titties. My guess is you've never had your Napoleon Dynamite self to a prom in your life.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It's so amazing. I love it.
My
I love
God.
it.
That's very
Best.
good.
He even quoted the best movie ever. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that.
Okay, all right. So moving on. So here's the second one. This one actually comes from one of our Patreon members, Paige B. Shared this with us. And the troll was Dan Lawrence on Twitter, #DanLaw777. Like, we're going to throw you under the bus. And I'll share this. He actually has since deleted his tweet. But see, I'm smart enough to take screen shares of these things when I first see them, knowing that this might happen. So Dan, screw you, buddy. We got you. And so he was commenting to TV meteorologist Samantha Roberts up in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, she's one of my good friends.
No kidding.
God.
Well,
Okay,
listen to this. Listen to this. So Dan says, "Sam Roberts, you are a horrible newscaster weather woman. But of all that is nowhere near as horrid as your voice on the radio.
Oh, good Lord.
You must
Oh
be
my
giving
God.
something to someone to have a job.
Wow.
And
Wow.
then
There is
listen,
no professional response, Phil, for this.
Yeah.
Now, listen, hashtag worst voice ever, hashtag leave Cleveland, hashtag go torture Pittsburgh.
Hashtag
Oh
I'm
my
good.
God.
Lord. Yeah.
So
Somebody was
here,
having a
here
bad
was
day.
Samantha's response, right? Because God knows what she might have been thinking. Trollbot hopefully will tell us. But her response was very simple. She had an asterisk and she said meteorologist.
Good for her.
That was it, right? Because he was like, oh,
Awesome.
newscaster, weather woman, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And she just said asterisk meteorologist. That was her
God,
response.
she must have been
Good for
so
her.
pissed off.
So let's go ahead and enter this into Trollbot. You guys ready?
Yes.
Well, we're ready.
Very.
Here's what Samantha
Hands
was
ready.
really thinking. I'm giving everyone my fucking meteorological talent. You turtle licking hack. Hashtag suck me. Hashtag go torture Cyndi Lauper.
Oh my gosh.
Turtle licking hack.
That was good. That was good. That was really good. I'm so mad for her. Like
Oh, my.
how anybody could treat someone that way. Like,
You know
it's-
what? We got to get turtle liquor trending.
Yeah.
I think we can.
That might be the name of the episode too. Turtle liquor.
There's
Or-
some good
yeah.
ones
Turtle
here
liquor.
I don't know. That's crazy, but oh my gosh,
Oh,
Turtle liquor.
can you believe people?
Wow.
I cannot believe people.
people
All
are
right.
horrible.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Well,
Don't
I'll tell
ever
you what.
read- Don't ever read the YouTube comments. Let's just say that.
Oh, yeah.
Comments in
Can't
general,
imagine.
typically,
Yeah.
right? In comments.
But Garrett's comment about I'll send an anonymous tip to catch a predator, Chris Hansen on that guy, top notch, man. Like,
Yeah.
high five.
Right
That's
on.
Awesome.
Postcard, drop me a line.
You've got mail, baby, yeah.
All right, MJ, what do we got?
All right, we got we got one today, so that's great. Vince.
Okay.
Vince checks in with us and says, if I wasn't such a cheap bleep, I'd totally pay the $5 to watch live. Laugh out loud.
We get it. We get it.
You know, folks, it's only a latte a month to get in on the live recordings, the live raw recordings. So go to patreon.com/stormfrontfreaks and join us. And check in on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those places. Give us your thoughts and ideas. Just search for Stormfront Freaks. You'll find us. And that's the Freak Fan Box for today. Short and simple.
Awesome.
Very good. All right. Well, hey, we'll take it all, even if it's a cheap
Absolutely.
bleep. Yeah, that's all good stuff. So, hey, I think that just about does it for this episode of Stormfront Freaks podcast. As always, everybody, thanks so much for listening or watching. Before I get to the reveal of our next guest, if you do like the show, don't forget to subscribe. We already talked about earlier at the top of the show, Greg was talking about El Niños. It's funny you brought that up, Greg. Like, how long are we going to keep doing El Niños before that gets old? But it's still good. It's still good. It's still got some legs to it. But what's great is when you subscribe to the Stormfront Freaks Network, you're going to get both our show, Stormfront Freaks, as well as El Niños, the Tornado Hunters podcast. So make sure you do that, and you can follow the show just by clicking on your podcast app. Just click the follow button or subscribe button, whatever that happens to be. And it's no cost. It's free. It just guarantees you that the minute we issue a new episode of Stormfront Freaks or El Niños, you're going to get the latest podcast right in your inbox. It'll show up and boom, you'll know you can play a new episode. Also, visit patreon.com/stormfrontfreaks. As we talked about, you can check out all these cool ways that we're coming up where you can not only support us, but we can also do more with you, whether it's the live access to view and chat during our raw recordings, whether it's the exclusive merchandise I talked about earlier, or even like Dan, if you want to join us as a guest in our green room and also have a chance to ask questions and hang out with us. And I'll tell you this, coming soon, we're going to be creating a way for our members to chat storm setups with the freaks and some of our past guests. So that's just kind of a little tease of something we got coming up. But just visit patreon.com/Stormfront Freaks to join the team. And as always, thank you so much for supporting everything we're doing. it's a big help to help pay for some of the costs that we have and we incur for that. So special thanks to our guest tonight, McCall Vrydaghs. Had a great time with McCall. Great stories, guys. What'd you think? I mean, that was great.
Oh, good.
Fantastic.
Great
I
guest.
love
Awesome.
how
Yeah.
in depth and real she was. Yeah.
I might have to
Yeah,
go
I mean,
back and
that's-
watch the coverage, honestly. Just
That's a
watch that
position
night.
truly I would never want to be in, right? Where you're having to go wire to wire for 4 hours, having to talk and come up with stuff to be saying, knowing that, people could be getting killed. And I mean, that's just not something I don't
Wild.
think any of us would want to
heavy.
do. So thank God for people like McCall. Our next episode, we're going to be back in 2 weeks recording live and raw. It's going to be on a special day for our Patreon members. We're going to be recording on Monday, April 26th. And get this, we're going to be with the tornado hunters themselves. So Greg is going to be on the show, and he's going to be bringing with him Ricky Forbes, Chris Chittick from the TV series. He's going to be bringing them onto the show as well. So we get a chance to talk to those guys and talk more storms, more tornadoes, all that cool stuff. So any advance tips or teasers, Greg, that you might want to share with us? What we can expect
maybe
that will actually make people want to listen.
just maybe don't have your kids around for that one. I'm just saying it just tends to deteriorate very quickly.
It's going to be hard for me.
I'll bring the hard liquor to that one.
Put MJ to work.
No, Greg, it's like the 10-year anniversary of the super tornado outbreak of 2011.
I know.
Like literally 10 years.
Yeah, we're coming up. We're coming up on it in just a couple weeks.
Yeah. Like the 26th
It'll be
was
that
the
day.
26th, 27th was the.
It's that day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so for MJ, for Serena, Brady, Greg, and Jen, I'm going to go ahead and signal the all clear, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Good show, everybody.
All right.
Now,
Great
guys,
job.
MJ,
Yes,
the last 5 minutes, Phil's mic was cracking, popping.
See, he made fun of me, but it was very definite.
Popcorn.
Yeah,
That just
and
get
it was
closer.
only the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, it started a little bit like at the end of that last break, but then
Yeah.
it
It was like a
wasn't
clicking. It was like
but
a
it
clicking.
came back worse the last few minutes.
Yeah. So, MJ, in Audacity, is there any way to remove the clicks, the pops?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Okay.
Did this make a difference? By the way, did it sound like I don't even know what this does. So I just kind of put it here because
It's just here's the difference. So when I go and I go,
oh,
It's different,
got
yeah.
it. Okay.
so it's that's why it's called a pop filter.
Okay.
It helps eliminate those
I should use mine,
louder
but-
pops.
Brady, you sound really good though. I love
I
the
can just
setup.
put my face.
Yeah, good job, buddy. Yeah, it's a
I like
face
that. We
filter.
can't even
It
see
can
it.
work
Jen,
as
your
both.
boyfriend's mic
you,
is
Jen.
pro
So
though. That sounds amazing.
That's a good mic, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Looks like something out of Star Wars,
Hey,
man.
don't use that voice.
I should have used that voice for
Oh,
No,
what
you don't
Trollbot.
understand,
Bring Dan
guys.
back, sorry.
He's got the whole like the road mic,
Mixer and everything?
roadcaster. Yeah, he's got the mixer. He's got a
Oh,
stream
he's got
deck.
the
he's got,
roadcaster. Okay.
all the things. Yeah.
Then why were you using the mic on the laptop for half the show?
Well, no. I was using the Yeti.
No, you weren't actually. You were using
Well,
your
no,
laptop.
I don't know what you were
having-
using, but
We were
Yeah.
having issues with the Yeti, but we were supposed to be using the Yeti. But I didn't realize this was really an option. So next time.
So am I
Serena,
still
what time is
cracking?
it for you? Yeah, you are.
It is.
Really?
I can't read a clock anymore. It's like 10:45 or something.
Yeah.
Mm.
And my beer was way too strong for tonight. I'm like loopy as hell.
There you
I'm
go.
not
Good for
gonna lie.
you.
I'm
Hey,
like,
Thirsty Thursday.
You can't go to
oh my
bed yet.
god,
Good for
I'm gonna
you.
sleep so well.
You should do a time lapse of the snow. I don't know the time frame of it snowing for you, but you should
I
totally.
know. So I'm really excited to actually take a look when everything's done. I'll turn on like the lights on the deck and see if it's changed over yet, because the forecast has gone from like a dusting to last forecasted duration was saying 9 inches for where I am. So I'm
That's
just
ridiculous.
1.5 inches of liquid equivalent, and
Wow.
it's been really warm, but the cold air seems to be coming in. So I don't know. I'm excited.
Oh,
Send us
Garrett
photos.
upgraded to the EF5.
Yeah.
Merch and more.
Yay!
Hey,
Wow.
here's to me one of the cool things about that EF5 level is I send them copies. You know how I give you guys the agenda, like the week of the agenda of the show. So I provide that to anybody with EF5 membership or more. They get copies of the agenda when I release them, the script. You guys don't even get the script. MJ is the only one that gets the script. So they get copies of the script and then the show notes before we release the podcast itself. And that's just some of it. And then you guys know, I still have 3 signed books from Janice Dean. And we're still going to do a drawing and send those to our EF5 folks too. So
Nice.
I love that. That's awesome. That's so
Phil, did I also tell you that we have Snoopy booked for El Niños?
Snoopy,
Snoop
nice.
Dogg?
Like, no, not Snoop Dogg. No Brady.
I don't know.
Snoopy, sits
The
on
Beagle.
a doghouse. And he,
Wait, but that's a cartoon character.
Charles
Correct.
Schultz is dead,
Correct.
isn't he?
Yeah. No, the guy who does the voicing for Snoopy in the cartoons, he's coming on, and
Since
he
when?
will be in
Snoopy has a
character.
voice.
Yeah, he's the voice of Snoopy, and he's coming on in character. Yeah.
Wow.
See,
What's the little
MJ's
bird,
like,
Schroeder or something?
I know who that is.
yeah, there was a Schroeder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're called the
Plays the
Peanuts.
piano.
Look it up,
Oh, the
Brady.
Peanuts. Yeah. That's
Wait,
It's the
does Snoopy
Peanuts.
talk? or
Charlie
does he just
Brown.
make,
You know
like,
Charlie
noises?
Brown.
Charlie Brown, the Peanuts.
Charlie Brown.
Yep. They
Charlie
have
Brown,
Christmas
Charlie
specials
Brown.
and Thanksgiving specials and the Great Pumpkin. and
I know what
How did you get him, Greg? How are you connected?
Jen, when you're as
Shit.
when you're as big a,
Why did you ask?
I cast a wide net, Jen. I cast a wide net. So,
Oh my God, Greg! I still want to come up and visit you. That's happening. It's happening.
There
it
you go.
is. There it is.
Oh, okay. I recognize that.
I love it. Look at MJ getting into it. Yeah. I love it so much.
If you don't flare your
that's the
hands
one.
out.
That's the one.
I love that Garrett has my same Yeti mic.
Oh, that's too funny.
Little puffs coming up around.
This makes me want to eat
while
like
they're
turkey
dancing.
or like steak or something, man. I don't know. I just got really hungry. That's weird. I've been like conditioned.
Oh.
It makes
To hear
so
that song
funny.
and want to eat Christmas food, huh?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird.
That's interesting.
Okay. Well, we're all still here. Help me out. We were really lacking for show titles right up until we got to the last couple segments, and then we had lots of them. So you tell me what we're going to use. Here are my nominations. That's what Mr. Lightning said. Where do the balls go? Naders on the sun. We'll squeeze them in, and turtle licking.
Turtle. Oh,
Turtle licking or where do the balls go? It's
I
gotta
don't
be
know.
one.
I like the naders on the sun.
I
good
did like
too.
that one too. But
yeah.
Aw.
It's got to be
Dan,
some
what do you think?
cocktail somewhere.
I like turtle liquor, but I mean,
I can actually picture what that T-shirt would look like too.
I know
Phil.
Garrett says something about that being a next T-shirt design.
gonna-
Or no, Curtis said that. Sorry, right here.
People just see that and be like, where did that come up? And I think that's my vote. Turtle liquor.
Was it turtle liquor or turtle licking? I think it was turtle licking, wasn't it? But it doesn't matter.
It
Either one's
doesn't
good.
matter.
No,
Naders on the Sun though is cool too.
I did like that one, but
Those are all good. I do like the
I'm
where the
giving
balls.
everyone my fucking
Guy-
meteorological talent. You turtle licking hack. Hashtag suck
Turtle
me.
licking hack.
Hashtag go torture Cindy Lauper.
Turtle licking hack.
Turtle licking hack.
Yep.
Oh
right.
God,
all right. Well, I'll make go with that one.
That's awesome.
guys, I got to run.
All right, ending the broadcast. We were live. We were still on. Bye, Curtis and Garrett.
Bye guys.
Right.
Bye guys.
Dan